Hello, I'm Ari Lax, and this week I'll be recording with Green White Hate Bears. Specifically, this list was played by Brandon Semmerau to a 17th place at the Cincinnati Open last weekend. And so it diverges a bit from the list that Craig Wesco top-aided Grand Prix Pittsburgh with. That list was playing a bunch of Wiltley Fleeges, and I think that, especially on Magic Online with the Rise of the Eldrazi deck, play on words pun somewhat intended there. That deck rising up has really killed off a lot of the decks that you want Wiltley Fleege against. The opposing Liliana the Veil decks are really bad against your Lingering Souls big mana deck. So instead of that, I'm trying out Brandon's list, which is the Restoration Angel shell. So that's the 4-drop of choice here. So Restoration Angel, Flicker Wisp, you get to do a bunch of crazy stuff, exiling permanents at instant speed. Same with Aether Vial, Flicker Wisp. That lets you recycle cards like Eternal Witness, Kitchen Finks, Blade Splicer for value. The thing that takes the hit in this list is that you don't want to overload on these X1 flyers, so you are losing out on some number of Mind Sensors. So these Ghost Quarters are a little worse, but that effect's still fine. I mean, as evidenced by the aforementioned Eldrazi deck playing a full set of that card anyways, without really any way to get a good advantage out of it. It's just there to beat Tron and Amulet. Still have Tectonic Edge, still have a bunch of value lands, a bunch of duels, one of each basic, so that there are cases where you need to Ghost Quarter your own land to get a basic, or if you get Path or Ghost Quarter, that works. This is an Aether Vial deck. This list is doubling down on Aether Vial and Noble Hierarch as ways to get off the ground early. Early lists, I don't know if they actually always had both. I guess I'm dating myself by thinking about the mono white lists from way back that were really bad, but I guess green white's kind of moved into the norm, and this is one of the reasons. A bunch of Scavenging Oozes, most powerful card in terms of threat for this deck. Shuts off Snapcaster Mage, which is also really important. Timing this card is pretty important on that front. You don't just want to run it out and then get it bolted and then have Snapcaster bolt your other thing. You want to be able to like bait the bolt, then play the ooze with mana to eat the bolt, and that kind of stuff. Bunch of Thalias in this list compared to the last one. Again, with the Mind Sensor shift, you're a little more, this is your hate card of choice instead. Though, I kind of don't like 4, so I'm going to make an edit on the fly. I'm going to try this. I think 4 Thalia is overkill in a format without Karakas. Even though it's more likely to die, it's also less likely to be very good. Leonin Arbiter again for Ghost Quarter, Path to Exile interactions, plus shutting off Shuffle is one of the big things in Modern. A couple Pride Mages, mop stuff up. Flicker Wisp does take some of the pressure off Pride Mage, because instant speed Flicker Wisp can take out, a pesky enchantment on the turn that it matters. You can take out, like for example, with Phyrexian Unlife or whatever, you can actually just kill them because they're at negative life, and then you Flicker Wisp their Unlife and they die. Just gonna go with Brandon's mix of flickerable 3-drops. He's the one who did well, so I'll trust him. For Restos, nothing higher on the curve. You are using your lands for various things, sacrificing them, attacking, drawing cards. So being higher on the curve is not the best idea. No Linvala here, worth considering, but I'll go with this. And if you pull out the sideboard here, normally I separate my modern stuff into interaction and hate. As evidenced by the name, there is a lot of hate bears in this deck. There is an excessive amount of affinity hate. That was one thing Wesco said after the GP top 8 and losing to affinity, was that he definitely shorted himself on hate for that matchup and got punished as a result. So as you see a million Stony Silences and Katakis, you have a plan. Other hate bears that beat certain decks. Teague shuts out Tron's Ugins and Karns. It shuts out various combo decks. It shuts out Hivemind from the Primeval Titan decks, Amulet, so that you can Ghost Quarter to shut off Slayer Stronghold or whatever you're doing, like their Boros Garrison for their Slayer Stronghold, and in turn, like, manage their Titan with a single path or whatever. You don't just, like, die to Pact. Forge Tender and Firewalker against Burn make their life miserable. Spellskite's also okay there. Spellskite also comes... I mean, this card's just good against, like, so many different things. That's, like, It's gonna hold off Twin. It's gonna hold off Infect. It's gonna hold off Burn. It's gonna hold off Amulet because they can't Slayer, Stronghold, or Titan on the first turn. There's just a lot of stuff. And then the last thing is just a couple of extra spot removal in the matchups where you need that effect. Uh, Split because you do need like a fifth way to kill a Goy for larger creature post board like Tasigur. And then Sunlance is a utility answer that you do not want to board it in the mirror. Just stating that so no one accidentally does it. So I'm interested to see how this deck does. It's been a while since I tried to play with Hate Bears, and I think the meta, specifically because Jund has really taken a drop lately, and Junk's Abzan has been on the rise. But I think that with the Eldrazi deck, I think that will change a bit, and I think that online this deck is especially going to have a really good position for the metagame.